Today, I'm giving you a full walkthrough of Eskimo's new ice fishing gear for the season. You may have seen parts of this in the FGTN show or on ice videos, but this is the tight all-in-one breakdown on what's new and what might be worth adding to your setup. Let's dive in. They've got 3 new shelters. Let's talk about them. We're actually going to start with the 850 XDP because that one has the most differences on it. As we can tell, this is a double hub. You've probably heard of the Outbreak 850 XD, which is their current model, the one that they've had for a couple of years now. This is the new iteration of that. So one of the big things you're going to see here in this photo is there's 2 big walk-through doors. So you can see there's one in the front and one in the back. The previous model, the XD, this is the XDP. The XD only had 1 full door in the back, was one of the triangle D doors. They've now been able to design it in a way where it's still very sturdy, but you can have one on either side. So that's one of the big features here with those no trip doors. Pack down hubs. So this is called the Outbreak XDP. The P stands for pack down. It's a much smaller pack down size. So this now packs down to just 4 feet 9 inches or 57 inches in length. This will, see if they've got a photo here, this will make it much easier to fit into the back of any vehicle that you've got, whether you've got a truck and you've got a short bed, it'll fit back there. In fact, in many trucks, you can actually fit this widthwise, kind of going horizontal because you've got 4 feet usually between the wheel wells and then about 6 to 8 inches on either side is what it said. 4 feet 9 inches in length, you should be able to fit it. If you have a car, this makes it much more usable for packing down and hauling. It also will fit in a sled much easier now as well. You've still got the same Storm Shield insulated fabric. 120 square feet of fishable area is a little bit bigger than the previous one because when they added that other no trip full door, that actually pushes the canvas out a little bit and you do get a little bit more space. So it is a little bit bigger. I want to say the old one was 116 square feet, give or take. Don't quote me on that. And this one is 120. So I think you get about 4 square feet more. This zippered carry bag is new and improved. They now have where you've got a full length zipper. So you're going to be able to open this thing up wide open, take the shelter out and drop it down in there. You're no longer limited to kind of having the top open and you have to shove it straight down in there. You've got 2 big pockets, one on either side here. So you can put your ice anchors in there, your tie down straps, your accessories, those types of things, one on either side. And then you've also got 3 really nice handles on it now. Of course, you've got the cinch straps and the big strap, but you can see here in the middle, here's one handle, there's another one up here, and then another one on the side. So you've got kind of 2 in the back you can grab, 1 in the front. So you can literally just grab it, pick it up, and move it around. So you can kind of manhandle it a little bit easier, which is really nice. Really nice zippered carry bag. Giant windows. So the windows are bigger. And the reason why the windows are bigger is because of the way that they redesigned the shelter so that the pack down size is smaller. So how do they do that? You've got these hubs that are inside of every hub house, right? Well, the difference is that they moved these down a little bit. So previously, you had these bottom poles that were a little bit longer. This allowed the shelter to have some structural integrity, the way that they had originally designed them, and then the top poles were a little bit shorter. That is what caused the shelters to have to be longer when they were in a bag because these poles, even when folded up, were still longer than the top ones. So you kind of had longer, some shorter. Now what they've done is they've made it so the top pole and the bottom poles are the same length. So it truly is folding them in half when you collapse it down, which is getting the pack down size smaller. Well, here's the other benefit of that. These are now lower down on the wall because these aren't as tall up, which is allowing more space for the windows to be bigger. You're also going to have a bigger storage net up here, which is great. And you're going to have the hub a little bit lower, which is nice for the ability to put more accessories there and not have them so high up. So if you have a table or a cup holder there, it's kind of better at that arm's reach rather than kind of going up to get to it, which is really nice. So in terms of the windows, I had a nice picture here. I'll kind of explain what they did. So the top of the window, because remember what we said is that this pole got longer. And so what they did is this is the same angle on the previous window, give or take, but the previous windows would cut off right about here. So you added a few inches to the bottom of the window, which is wonderful because when you're sitting down, you actually want the windows to be a little bit lower so you can still see out, see your tip up, see your jaw jacker, see what's going on around you without having to stand up and look out the window. They've made it so that the window stretches lower, it's bigger, more light coming in. I mean, just the pros are awesome for this type of thing. The other thing that they added in the Outbreak 850 XDP is the heat source ports. So they've now made it easier for you to hook up whatever heater that you want. So in the canvas, they've got 2 ports here. This is for like the air coming in and the air going out. If you have something like a diesel heater, you can now do that ducting straight through rather than having to go through a window, through a doorway, propping the skirt up to be able to get out, because those ducting hoses are pretty big. You can also cinch them down and not use them as well. You can use them for whatever you want. And then in the middle here, what you're seeing is a little zippered propane hose port. So again, you don't need to go out of any of those other old areas to put a propane hose like to a 20-pound tank. If you wanted like a buddy heater inside, you can now throw that hose through there. The propane hose is small though, so some of you may just, for ease of use, just still throw it underneath the skirt of the hub. Totally okay. But if you're ice camping, maybe you're worried about it freezing in, if it's raining, sleeting, kind of that outside area, if it's freezing in because it's laying on the ice, this allows you to get that hose up a little bit. So another option there, which I think is wonderful, as we're seeing more and more people kind of transition to diesel heaters as a fuel and heat source. They've got deluxe tie downs called out here. So essentially what they're saying is, on the outside of the shelter, of course, you've got all of these points where you can actually put a tie down strap. Well, previously they gave you a handful of tie down straps. Well, now that they have the 2 big pockets on the bag, they're now giving you a tie down strap. So the straps and an ice anchor for every spot that there's an ice anchor on this shelter and every spot that there could be a tie down strap. So you could literally pull all of them out. You don't need to buy extras like you did on their old ones. Everything is included that you could possibly want in terms of those tie down straps and anchors. So that is what's nice with the deluxe tie downs. It includes 13 ice anchors and 6 deluxe cam straps to secure each in-skirt grommet and hub of the shelter, which is great. Same gray interior and the robust hub construction. So that is what's new on the 850 XDP. They've got it listed here on their website at $919.99, but we've already seen this lower priced, even regular priced at other retailers. As always, links to the best deals are below. Some are affiliate with retailers, so if you use them, I can stay sponsor-free, unbiased, and keep pumping out videos. Now, the Outbreak 650 XDP is not that much different than the 850. We're going to run through it, but there are a few differences. So again, this is one of the new ones that has the P. The pack down size is smaller. So this one, as it is a 6-sided hub, has to have a little bit bigger poles in it, which is giving you some of that extra height in there as well. So this one packs down to 65.5 inches. So that's the total length that you've got packed down. Still going to be able to fit into sleds and some of the smaller vehicles. It has 1 no-trip door. They still had to use the D door in the back. You'll see the 450s in the same situation. So it's really only the 850 XDP that has the 2 double doors. They were not able to, because it's a single hub design of this size, they would have had issues with the rigidity of the hub if they had 2 big open doors like that. So they stuck with 1 on this guy. You got the same Storm Shield insulated fabric, 94 square feet of fishable area, which is the same as the old 650. You got the nice new zippered carrying bag, which you can see here, one of the pockets on one of the sides. You can see how it fits in a tub. And this is the longest of the 3 between the 450, 650, and the 850 XDP. This one is the longest, and you can see how it fits nicely in a sled. You've still got those big giant windows in it. You've still got the heat source ports. You've got the deluxe tie downs included, the gray interior, and the hub construction. So the biggest difference here is you do not have that second big door. Now, if we flip back to the 450, this is the 3rd and the final new shelter from them this year. This is the upgrade of the 450 XD. Again, they moved those hubs down. You've got the nice new bag. You've got a smaller pack down size. You've got more of the ice anchors, tie down straps, and all of that with it. You've got the heater ports, the bigger windows, all of the same things, but you do still have that 1D door, triangle door, whatever you want to call it in the back. But this thing is great. 75 square feet for the 450. Now, they do have a new auger this year. This is the 8-inch Redneck bit auger. So if you have ever used the Pistol Bit 2.0 that came out last year, I know I bought it in both the 8-inch and the 10-inch last year, used it on my Milwaukee drill. Pretty much all season, I'd say 80% of the holes I drilled last year were with a Pistol Bit 2.0, and it is phenomenal. This 8-inch Redneck bit is it's basically the steel version of it. It's not the lightweight composite. It is a steel shaft, but the bottom part of it, using the same blades, the same design. So it's going to be a little bit heavier, but it is going to be a little bit cheaper than if you went with the Pistol Bit 2.0. So $169.99 MSRP versus like that 8-inch Pistol Bit 2.0. Same performance, just lighter weight, $249.99. So you are saving some money, but the difference here is that you're going to have a little bit of heavier weight, 8.2 pounds versus 3.9 pounds for the 8-inch in the Pistol Bit 2.0. If you want the best of all worlds, you just go ahead and spend the $250, or hopefully you find it in a discount somewhere. But this guy right here is a pretty dang good deal. I cut with it and it cuts just like the Pistol Bit 2.0. Then they've got some new jackets and bibs this year. So first up here is the men's Expedition jacket and Expedition bibs. Biggest thing here is the colorway. This is the woodland pine colorway. You've got some green, you've got some tans. Of course, they still got the plaid inside of it in many different areas here, but they look really nice. I saw one of these end of last ice season in person, and they look slick. In person, you've got that nice red plaid accent on the inside of the pockets as well. So essentially what they did here is they took two of their other jacket and bib lines that are on kind of both ends of a little bit of a lighter one, a little bit of a heavier one, and they took the best features of both, smashed them together into a new suit, which is the men's Expedition suit. You've got a jacket and you've got bibs. So this has got the full uplift. So this is a float suit, a breathable flotation. Their difference here is that the flotation that's in it is perforated. So you have more breathability in that foam that's in there. It's not just a solid piece so you're gonna sweat and hold that humidity and moisture in. It is waterproof and windproof. 10K, which is really good quality. There's others out on the market that are 5K or 8K, but 10K waterproof, breathable performance, 80 grams of 3M Thinsulate throughout the body of the jacket and 60 grams through the sleeves. Flexible fabric, so they have what's called the mechanical stretch. So if you had, I'm sure you have clothes that are like this, where they're able to be stretched a little bit, kind of in each direction. That's what this fabric is. It's not like some of the suits that are out there that it's like, you've got it on, and if you need to stretch, there ain't no stretch. It's going to rip, or it's just not going to give you away. This has some of that flexible fabric, which makes the stretching of your arms, the squatting, right, in your knees and in the groin area and in the back, like it makes that much easier. Easy cinch cuffs. The big difference that they made here is on the inside of the cuff. Of course, this part is the same, but you can kind of see under here, there's black. That's a little bit of a stretchy fabric down on the bottom of the easy cinch cuff as well. Dual entry cargo pockets. They've got the storm flap, which is on the front, removable hood, and durable YKK zipper. So this is the jacket. They've also got the Expedition bibs, which are the matching bibs, a lot of the same types of things. You do have 3 different adjustment zones. If you want different leg lengths, you can do all of that with one size. You've got removable knee pads, and then they've got the women's version, which they're calling the Women's Elevation jacket and bibs, and then they've got a youth version, which is the Youth Explorer jacket and the Youth Explorer bibs. They did redesign the men's roughneck jacket this year with some of the upgrades to it, which are the things like the mechanical stretch elements with the Dura Dry in it. So if you are familiar with the previous roughneck and you think it's time to upgrade, but you love the roughneck, you can now get one of the new ones that has some of those additional new features in it. All right, getting over to some of the exciting accessory stuff. So they've got floor tile kits. So there's 3 of them here. We're going to click on one of them, but I'm going to show you what they've got first. They've got the large, the small, and the floor tile pack. MSRPs are $169, $119, and $32.99 based off of the website here as of right now. So let's talk about what's unique about this versus any other floor tiles that I've seen on the market. So we're going to pull up the large floor tile kit, which covers 120 square feet of coverage, which is exactly what you need for that new 850 XDP. So as long as you have a shelter that size or smaller, doesn't matter the brand, you can use this and you're going to be good to go if you just buy the large kit. Of course, it's the most expensive, so maybe you don't need this many, but if you were just looking for buy one kit and be done, this is the one that I'm probably going to be picking up myself. So they've got a really nice breathable bag. One of the challenges with these floor tiles is carrying it around. I know they sell some of them like on Amazon for like $20 or $10 or something like that, but those bags are plastic and you zip them shut. Zippers are great. They're cheap material. The plastic could break in the cold and they're not breathable. So you're going to get humidity and moisture in there. These are like that net fabric on there and it's got a nice handle on it. So you're going to be able to get them to air dry even when not in use. Super easy to move around and you don't got to worry about plastic shattering in the cold either, which is pretty great. Now, here's what's unique about them. They have full tiles, which which are your 2 feet by 2 feet, but they have half tiles that are 1 foot wide by 2 feet long. This is allowing you to do essentially what they have here in the photo. Do it in any way that you want, but you can have little gaps in here without a full tile missing or without having to cut holes in your tiles to be able to have a spot for a hole or two. If you wanted to, one of the ways I'm probably going to use it is actually the other way. So that way this would actually go the long way. There'd be a 1 by 1 gap here and there'd be another tile here. So that way you'd only have 1 by 1 opening because the tiles are going to be a foot closer together, if that makes sense. That's the way I'm planning on using them, but we'll see how it pans out. What's really cool about these is they can interlock to each other either straight on or in 4 different points. So you can see this piece right here can slide into this slot, into this slot, into this slot, or into this slot. So you have a lot of space, 4 different ways to actually space these out. And so they will interlock with all the pieces around them appropriately, but they are not going to work with if you bought some off of Amazon or Home Depot or Menards or something like that. You have to use these only with these tiles because the way the edges are designed is unique to allow you that flexibility, but they're not going to mate up to other like the puzzle floor mat tiles. These are 1/2 inch thick. And so what you're getting here is 30 foam tiles, 26 full tiles, and 8 half tiles. Now, the small kit is a little bit cheaper. This is going to cover 80 square feet for you, which is getting you 20 foam tiles, which is 16 of the full and 8 of the half tile. So 8 of the half equals 4 full, which gets you up to that 20. And of course, the floor tile pack is 4 squares, 3 full, and 2 of the half. And this is going to be, of course, the cheapest at 16 square feet. A couple more accessories I'm pretty excited about. E-Hub triple mount splitter. So this is something that I think is absolutely simple, basic, and genius at the same time. So especially if you're in a hub house, you have a hub on each wall, right? Like you don't have a bunch of different attachment points where you can put accessories like their rod holder, their table, their cup holder, camera mount. You can't do a lot of things right now with one hub and one connector. And so they came out with the triple mount splitter. Exactly as you would imagine, it hooks onto one hub point and you have 3 that come off of it. So now you have 3 accessories like in these photos here that you can actually hook up to it. You can just use one of them, you could use 2 of them, you could use all 3, kind of whatever you want from their entire E-Hub system. This thing's pretty awesome. I'm going to definitely be picking up a few of these. To me, this makes this system uniquely different from all of the other brands that are out there. They all have their pros and cons, don't get me wrong, but I am super appreciative that Eskimo came out with this. I will bet you right now, put my words on this and check this in 12 months. Otter and Clam and Rapala will be coming out with something like this for their systems next year because you're going to see how much of a hit this thing is going to be. All right, another new accessory is the SeatStash bucket lid that we can see here. I'm going to pick up a couple of these this year as well, especially because I'm going to pair this with a couple of new ways that I'm getting out on the ice, but it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a bucket seat that has a foam top to it, but it's a SeatStash, meaning the lid opens up and you can put some stuff inside of it. So if we flip through the pictures here, you can see how big the cavities are inside of it with some of the products that are in there. It is one piece, so this is not an insertable tray that you can take out, which keeps it rigid and all together. Of course, it fits 5 and 6 gallon buckets. You can clip it on the lip and it goes click. Like it's a really positive clicking on, clicking off system. It's not hard to do, but you know when it's clicked on and when it's opened up, which is great. Both the lid as well as on the bucket, which is awesome. Again, I'm picking up a couple of these. I'm pretty excited about them. This one's actually pretty smart as well. I'll probably get one of these. The grab handle hitch pin, you can see how it is in a folded up method here. So imagine there's an ice fishing sled hooked up to this. This is your tow bar. You know how you have the hitch that goes onto your hitch pin thing right here, right? This is how all of them are for all of the brands. Well, guess what? Instead of just having that pin that you lose, this one's got a handle on it, which is allowing you to more easily move it around from that tow hitch, as well as if you take it off of, say you pull it out on the ice with your machine and then you want to move it around by hand to a few different spots, you can now do that a lot easier. It's also easier to pull on and off as just a pin if that's all you're using it for. So the pin functionality, the maneuverability, you've got the grab handle, and it has a 1/2 inch diameter to fit most tow hitches, as you can see in the photos here. Pretty cool new product. And then they've got a couple of hoodies. They got the Lakeside hoodie, and then they've got a Youth Retro Buffalo Plaid hoodie. This one actually looks really nice. It's a heavy duty hoodie. I mean, we're not here to talk about hoodies. They got a couple of new hats. They've got a red hat and they've got a black cap. These are Walleye Patch, Lakeland cap. Who doesn't like a new hat? This is one from maybe a couple of years ago. And then the Youth Keeper mitts this year they came out with as well, which are great if you've got a young one and you want to get them into the plaid stuff. Here's the sizing chart here as well. That is what Eskimo has this year. If you want to see more in depth of how this stuff looks actually on the ice, I actually already have 2 videos out on the channel. I will link the in-depth one right here on the screen. You can click to it next. Take it easy, tight lines, and drop down in the comments if you have any questions. See you till next time.